Nelson Mandela once said that education is the key to success. That with education we have the capability of not only changing our lives, but that of our nation. These words echoed all around the world and actually influenced the policies of restructuring education in this country as well as its access. For many who had privilege to access education back then, 15 to 20 years ago, they indeed changed their lives and changed those of their families. But over time, there has been a big shift in the labor market. What used to be the only deciding factor as to why a company would hire you is no longer the only factor. So the questions we should be asking ourselves in order to understand how we can equip ourselves as what has been the shift in the labor market. How do you equip yourself? And how do you increase your chances of being employable? With that being said, on today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you the major factor that you need to have if you want to increase your chances of being employable in this country. So hi guys, my name is Jennifer Nxumalo. I do hope that you enjoy it here. If you do, please make sure that you join us by clicking that red subscribe button. That is if you are not subscribers yet. And also for the people who have been riding with me and showing me love and support, who have been subscribed to this channel, I just wanted to say thank you. Also, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up because it does help with the YouTube algorithm. So let's get into the video. So the first thing that I want us to decode in order for us to understand what is this major factor that you need to have in addition to your qualification is we need to understand education in this country currently. The way that education is currently structured in this country is it focuses so much on knowledge and less on the know-how. So there's a difference. There's knowledge which you can find in books that is different from knowing how to. Knowing how to is your ability to do something. So currently the way that our education is structured, it focuses so much so on the knowledge and not on the how to. And I'll just pose a question, and I think I'm also going to reflect on this. How many things did you study at school that you felt like you could still apply in your working environment? Or the things that if you're studying right now, how many things are you studying that you feel like are going to be tangible for you in the working environment? Not a lot of those things, because the education currently focuses so much on the knowledge and not the how to. Like there are so many things I learned in public administration in terms of how government functions. But then now that I'm within government, I then understand that all of those things that I learned, they're really not what is happening on the ground. However, me knowing that my education really didn't equip me in terms of the how to, it did give me valuable things that I felt like equipped me to be where I am today and influence my career journey. And what are those things? So for me, my qualification allowed me to be critical, apply my mind whenever I'm dealing with something, whenever I'm reading something. It taught me to be analytical. It taught me to communicate, and also it taught me how to deal with people from diverse background and how to adapt. So for me, I came from KZN and I still went to school in KZN, but further away from home. Where I come from, there's really not a lot of different races. Majority of the race from where I come from, because it's the rural areas, it's black people. And so when you see other races, you seldomly see them, like it's few, like you can literally count them. And so when I left my hometown to go to UKZN, I was exposed to different races, from Indians, coloreds, whites. I was exposed to diverse demographics, and that for me taught me how to interact and deal with people from different backgrounds. It also taught me to adapt in whatever environment that I come into, because I left my hometown and went further away from home, started in a new place that I knew no one, and actually learned to survive there. So that taught me to adapt. And then my qualification was so much so on theory, which you had to come back and analyze and be critical and actually reproduce a written paper. And from that, I learned analytical skills, I learned critical skills. I also learned how to write, so how to articulate my thoughts. Those are the key things that I felt like my qualification gave me, beyond the theory, which I honestly cannot use in the working environment because it's not relatable. However, the underlying messages of my qualification are the things that equipped my career, equipped who I am today. So the second thing is that you need to also address is, what is the shift? So the big shift that has happened in the labor market is that back then there was an emphasis on theory. There was an emphasis on people getting qualification because not a lot of people had access to qualifications back then. And so when that shift happened, when we moved to a democratic state, it also meant that formal education in this country had to change as well as its access. And so more people were able to access education, and they were able to change their lives with that because they were able to get into the working environment, because back then not a lot of people had qualifications. However, there has been a big shift over the years with the change in our economy, with the change in times, with the change of the things that are needed in the working environment. Though all those things have influenced the labor market, such that you having the qualification alone is no longer the deeming factor as to why a company will hire you. So the shift is that now the qualification, as much as it's still important, but it's not the only deciding factor as to why a company will hire you. A company wants to know that once I hire you, are you going to be able to deliver? Are you going to fit in your working environment? And are you going to help us advance in our goals as a company? And now, if they feel like you are not going to be able to do those things, they're not going to even waste their times by hiring you, because you are not going to be of value towards them. So that has been the shift in the working environment. The third thing that we need to break down here is your skills. But before we break down this part of skills, I think it's important that we understand what is a skill. So a skill is normally defined as your ability to do something. And so what you want to do is you want to build on your skills in addition to your qualification, so that you can show that you can be able to deliver, be it that you are hired in a position. But I feel like many people fail in this part because of their focus on just getting the qualification and not honing on their skills. I'll give you an example. You go to school, you study, but the only thing you do is to just cram the theory, regurgitate it, and go deliver it in the paper. And it allows you to get average marks for you to pass and qualify and progress to the next stage of your qualification until you eventually graduate. But beyond that, you have not possessed analytical skills. You have not possessed critical skills. You've never really applied your mind, because what you focused on was just getting the qualification. That was your main role. You never really also understood what your qualification stands for. You never really understood the underlying messages or the underlying things that your qualification is trying to teach you. As I said, for me, my qualification right now, it's redundant. In terms of what I learned and what I'm doing, there is no correlation. However, the underlying things that it taught me are the things that are keeping me going right now, are the things that have allowed me to advance in my career. And so I feel like many people find it wrong here, where they go to university, they go to colleges, and they only focus on just getting the qualification, on getting the paper, on cramming the theory, regurgitating it, passing their way with average marks. And sometimes you can even get good marks with just theory and cramming and just regurgitating that, but they never build on their skills. It saddens me when I see someone that has a qualification, a degree, a diploma, but cannot write a simple email. When they write an email, they write in capital letters. When they write an email, they can't even address the email properly. When they write an email, they use I as a small cursor and not a capital letter. That, for me, it really saddens me, because it tells me that you have not learned how to write. And then how can you get into a working environment and be able to deliver if you cannot craft a simple email? If you cannot write a simple email, if you do not understand that writing an email in capital letters means you are shouting, and so we never do that in an email. We write an email in small letters and alphabet letters where necessary. If you do not understand that you cannot say I and write in small letters, but you write in capital letters, those small things that you may overlook, because for you the most important thing at that time is just getting the qualification. Those are the things that are going to cripple you as you grow, as you try to grow in your career, because you have not focused on building the skills. And so what I'm asking you right now is that if you're in school right now and studying, don't just focus on just the theory, but focus on the underlying messages that your qualification is teaching you. What is your qualification equipping you in? So if your qualification involves a lot of numbers and just calculating and statistics, you need to understand what is that qualification equipping you in. It's not equipping you in just counting and and just the statistics, but it's equipping you that in a working environment, be it that you are required to draw up a report from the stats that you collected, that you are able to take the numbers and actually draw a message from there. If you write a lot in your qualification, be more intentional in understanding what is this qualification trying to teach me. And I know that normally when you're doing your undergrad, we really don't pay attention to this, and that is why for me, I actually learned most of these things when I got to my honors and masters, because I got a full view of, so all along, this is what I have been trained on. And funny enough, not the theory. The theory has not been valuable for me in the working environment. However, it is the things that I needed to understand the theory that have been valuable for me in a working environment. And those have become my skills. If you're already working and you finished your qualification a long time ago, you're already working, obviously this is going to be hard to do. However, if you're working right now, what I would advise you to do is expose yourself to as many things in your organization as much as possible without expecting anything. If they want someone to help them with something, raise your hand. One of the biggest things that I've done for myself in my career is to make sure that I expose myself to as many things in my working environment. I don't have this mentality that it's not my job. I don't say things like that because I don't believe that if I want to advance in my career, then I need to have that mentality. And I've seen people who have that mentality to say it's not my job, being stagnant in their careers for years and years and not moving. Even when they try, they go to interviews, they just don't get the jobs, but they do have the experience, they do have the technical know-how, but because they have a negative connotation when it comes to work, it translates during interviews. And so for me, I do not believe that there's something called it's not my job. Even if it's not part of my key responsibility areas, I don't care, because I know that eventually somewhere in my career that's going to be important. And also whenever they need help, or whenever someone needs assistance with something, maybe a director, they need additional hands, I'm always available to help. And not that I allow people to use me. That's also another thing. I don't have that thinking that, oh, they are using me, they're just using me, because whenever I'm volunteering my time and my assistance, I'm not doing that with expectations. I'm not expecting that by doing this, I'm going to advance, they're going to help me to advance here, they're going to give me a job, they're going to give me a promotion. And that allows me to fully give my services, to fully raise my hand and say, I'm willing to help, be it that you need help, because I always have this thing that within me that no one owes me anything. I honestly believe that no one owes me anything. And so if you can be in a working environment and have that attitude that no one owes you anything, that if you offer your time and your energy to help someone that has nothing to do with your job, that is not because they're going to help you advance or to help you by giving you a promotion, but it is to help build your own skills and your own technical know-how. And that is why I've been able to grow in my career, not because there's anything special that I've done, but it's just because I'm always willing to learn. And if you're a person that is always willing to learn and willing to assist, people will see that. Even during interviews, when you are expressing yourself, it becomes easier to express yourself and to show that beyond your qualification, if you are hired in this job, you will be able to deliver. But you can't do that if you're a person right now in a working environment who have this bad attitude of saying it's not my job. Why would I do it? Because it's fine, Vele, they always overlook me. So those are the things that I can give you if you are still in university and also if you're currently working. And so I would really advise you that if you want to be employable, don't just focus on the qualification, but learn other things. Also get a job, get a part-time job somewhere, be exposed to other things so that those things also will be of value whenever you are writing your CV. When I talked about the skills and how many people get it wrong is that even when they write their skills, because they've never really taken time to look at what are their strengths, it becomes hard for them to actually craft a CV that properly sells them, because they only think that, okay, the only thing I need is just my qualification and my work experience. And even then, when they are work experience, you don't take time to show how you are able to deliver on these things or how valuable you were for this role, but instead you just list things. You also don't take time to craft your skills to show what are you capable of doing in relation to the post, but instead you list your skills and just say communication, computer skills, interpersonal skills, you write report writing and all the stuff. You haven't taken time to actually sit down and craft your skills in a way that it shows that you know how to do these things and you've done these things way. Sometimes the way that you write your skills, the content of your skills may not help you get the job. But then let's say, for instance, a job is about a lot of report writing, someone that will be expected to compile reports. By you just writing your skills properly, it already shows them that you're a person that knows how to write, and so they can trust that you will be able to do report writing. And so I want you to start thinking that way. I want you to start looking at everything that you're doing in your life as valuable. Don't take anything that you do in your life for granted, because each and everything that you do does play a role. That's why I always say, even if you are working as a cashier, it does play a role. Working as a cashier teaches you the most critical skill that you're not going to get anyway, which is communication skills. Being able to deal with people from different backgrounds, being able to deal with people with different emotions, and being able to articulate yourself. Those are things that you learn while you're working as a cashier. And so I don't want you to ever take those things lightly. And also, whenever you are crafting your skills, you want to link them to your work experience. You don't just want to say, I'm good with verbal and written communication, but you want to break it down in terms of, I am good with written and verbal communication. In my role as this and this, in my role as a cashier, I interacted with people from different backgrounds, which then strengthened my communication skills as I was able to deliver on clients' queries. So whenever a client had a query regarding an item in a shelf that is missing, I was able to deliver on that query or to assist them with that query that I have and make sure that they left happy. That is communication skills. That is you being verbal. When it comes to writing skills, even there, please make sure that you link it to your previous work experience. If it's not your previous work experience, link it to your qualification. If you're in your qualification, you're expected to write a lot, please link that to your writing. Please link your writing skills towards that part of your qualification. In your computer skills, if in your qualification you did a module that dealt with computer, please make sure that you link that in. And so what you want to do is you want to take your qualification, take your skills, link them together, tell a story and show why you are the right fit for the job. That is how you start making sure that you are employable. So with that being said, I'm going to close it off right here. I hope that this video was of value to you, and that is going to be an eye opener, and it's going to help you in terms of crafting your CV and applying your mind. And also, if you do not know, I do offer CV editing services, so I assist you in terms of just crafting your CV, understanding what you have and making sure that it represents you, and also removing anything that might be a distraction from your CV. So those are the services that I provide if you are in need of that, because I feel like it can be a start for many of you guys in terms of fully understanding now how do you then move forward, how do you craft your CV going forward, and you do feel like you need that help. You can just drop me an email. I have my email on the description box below. Drop me an email. You can ask me the information that you need, and then I'm going to send you the relevant details, and then we'll take it from there. So I will see you guys on the next one. Please take care and stay safe. Bye.